It look like you reading a kidnapping ransom, and the kidnapper is me, and I'm behind you. And you like,
Send 500,000 a day. What up, though, guys? Welcome back to the channel with Nick and Steve. Today, we want to give you an update on where we are in our building process. We also want to give you a few tips on if you decide building a home is right for you and where you can start. But before we do that, let's head over to the house and see where they are in the process.
all right, y'all. So we pull it up at the lot. We finna take a walk through, but we finna what we finna do? Oh, can I have my boots, man? Y'all might wanna.
Shit.
Nick, where my boots?
You didn't tell me to get them. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm being stabbed and some in my boot.
So if y'all come to new construction, you might want to bring some boots with y'all, so y'all don't get your shoes messed up. But I ain't trying to mess up my Maxes.
Look at the white shoes, look at the white shoes.
My little boots. Cause it could be muddy. All that type of stuff. Ain't that right, Nikki?
Yep. Could run into mud.
But it hasn't been raining, so all right, so let's see what these jive turkeys did over here.
Jive turkeys.
All right, so it is kind of muddy a little bit.
Yeah.
So it looked like they have prepared the situation for foundation pour. Here, let's go over this way. Yeah, so they're getting ready to pour foundation, and this is what it looks like.
It's like, is this rebar?
Yeah, it's like, rebar and stuff in there, and got the plumb out already done in there. However, our wall plug is missing. So this is what they called us about the other day. We're supposed to have a wall plug, not a wall plug, a floor plug in the wall.
And the floor.
Yeah, floor plug in the floor.
Hi.
So we're supposed to have a floor plug in the floor. So they need to do that before they pour the foundation. And they actually called it the other day and called us and said, hey, what, y'all supposed to have a floor plug? We were like, yeah. So once they do that, we should have a foundation. And yeah, I think once the foundation goes up, that's when things go pretty fast for that process.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Think I'm right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Do you think I'm right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Once the foundation
It's
gets
gonna
poured,
go fast.
everything just kind of goes fast. So that's where we at right now
This is the backyard.
in terms of build compared to the last time. So last time we was here was a couple weeks ago. So from the last time that we showed y'all, this is what they've done. Like I said, the plumbing, what's it called? The plumb out or whatever it's called, the plumb out.
Yeah.
And then prepping it for foundation. And then it's rock and roll time. So what you think, young lady?
Yeah. Excited.
Excited?
Yeah. Ready to go.
Ready to go?
Let's do it.
You do it?
Yeah. Let's get these
Okay.
this wood up. That's the next step, right? After the foundation's poured, start the wood.
Start the framing.
The framing, yeah.
Framing.
Yep, framing.
Okay. You got anything you want to say to the people?
No, not yet.
Mhm.
Yay.
All right, I guess we can head back to the house and give them those tips.
Yes, let's talk about the tips. Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. We see y'all back at the crib.
All right, guys, now that we're back from showing you the progress of the home, we're going to give you our 3 tips on if you decide building a home is right for you. Stevie's going to start you with his tip first.
All right, guys, so the very first tip that I want to give you guys, if you want to start building a home or even just buying an existing home, the very first thing that I think you should do based on our experience is to pull your credit. So your credit is the very most important thing that you can work on to make sure that you get an approval. Now, the loan process can be long out and drawn out, and it can be very tedious and give you a lot of anxiety. But if you start early in the process working on your credit, it's going to make the loan process very smooth, and you won't have as much anxiety as you think you will. Just pulling your credit score isn't the only thing that you need to do. Now, you can have a decent credit score, but also you can get denied because your debt to income is too high. So when you pull your credit file, you want to make sure you look for everything in your credit, from the credit score to the length of history to your debt income. All of that is going to help you with the loan process. The other thing that I wanted to tell you as it relates to your credit score is different programs have different credit score requirements. And I'll put the requirements right here up on the screen. Now, just because a program has a minimum, you want to make sure you go above and beyond the minimum, because you never know what's going to happen throughout that process. Because we use our credit monthly, we pay bills monthly, our credit score can dip at any given time. So if you go in it with just a bare minimum and you get to closing and anything happens and it dip below the minimum, that can actually put your closing in jeopardy. So for instance, if your minimum credit score is 620, aim for 680, just to make sure you have some room in the middle to wiggle just in case anything happens. So again, with the minimum, try to go a little bit above and beyond what the minimum requirement is. Now, the last thing I want to tell you about credit is if you know you're going to be buying a home and you're going to go through the process, whether it's a new build or an existing home, the best thing I can recommend is to freeze your credit report. Don't allow anyone or anything to pull your credit report. And that's an important step that I learned during this process, is just to ensure that nothing's going to trigger an inquiry, because an inquiry will dip your credit score depending on your scoring factors, especially at the end of closing. So go to each credit bureau, sign up, freeze your credit file while you're going through this process. It's going to really take that anxiety out, knowing that no one is able to pull your credit report. All right, last tip. I know I told y'all that last time, but this is a bonus tip. So when you're going through this process, I really recommend that you guys sign up for a credit monitoring program. We use that so we can ensure that we stay on top of our credit file, so we can see our score change whenever anything is updated. We can get access to our monthly credit reports every month that we pay for the service. And this just really helps stay on top of your credit file to ensure that all the things that you're doing as far as paying things down or any changes, you stay on top of them and you get alerts, right away. So this kind of kills any anxiety that you may have with your credit file, because you are monitoring it monthly. All right, so let's see what Nick has to say with her tip.
Okay, guys, the tip I want to talk about is coming up with a budget. Trying to establish a budget for everything that you'll need. You'll have to come up with a moving expense budget. You'll have to come up with budgets as far as what you're going to pay for your upgrade on your homes. Usually, you should try to come up with a budget around 10 to 15, maybe even 20% extra on top of what the cost of your home is. So, for example, if you're looking to build a home and it starts at $550, add another 15-20% on top of that, because you want to have a budget for upgrades. Upgrades is one of the things that you definitely want to have a budget for, because depending on, they can become a very big expense. One of the things that I would suggest is check out a few of your building communities, wherever your location may be. Do some research, figure out what the builders may be giving you as far as incentives. That will help with your budget as far as your upgrades as well. Another thing that you may want to budget for is, if you're going to a bigger home, you want to budget for higher utilities. You also want to budget for HOA fees, the Homeowners Association fees. Some communities have HOAs and some do not. Make sure you do your research on that. Try to figure out if you want to be in a community with the HOA and pay those fees, or if you just want to be in a community without it. A few more things that you might want to budget for. If you want to design your home once you are, in there and moved in, and also you might want to budget for furniture. If you're moving from a smaller square footage home to a bigger square footage home, you definitely want to budget for, more furniture. Establishing a budget is very important. You actually want to make sure that you're knowing everything that you have to pay for in advance. It's very bad to get to a closing and you have not budgeted for everything that you need to. You want to budget for, again, your HOA fees. You want to budget for your homeowner's insurance. You even want to budget for your taxes. So establishing a budget is very important. And for the very last tip, we're going to talk about finding your location.
All right, guys, the last tip that we want to give you in regards to if you want to start the building process is you got to pick a location. I think that was the fun part for us because we got a chance to go to different communities and look at different builders and look at different plans. And so we can establish exactly where we wanted to live. We were fortunate enough to find a builder and a plan in our current community where we live. So everything worked out, you know, in our favor as it relates to location.
Yeah, to location.
Yeah, so driving around to the different locations, it's gonna help you figure out where you want to live, because as you guys know, sometimes you can fall in love with a plan and it's not available in your location unless you ask.
Right, that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah. So we actually saw a couple of builder communities that offer our plan, but it wasn't on their website.
Right, they were considered custom built homes.
Yeah, but because, you know, we drove around to a location to ask those questions, we were actually able to get our plan in our community. And I'm gonna show you on the screen why that's important, because this home plan that we're building, there's 6 different communities that offer the same house, and all of them have different pricing. So if you look on the screen, you're gonna see some at 1.6 all the way down to 624,000. So depending on the location, you can get your plan that you want, but you're gonna have to pay for it.
Right.
So that's why picking a location is gonna be important and starting the home building process, because that's gonna, you know,
Determine a lot.
determine a lot. Yeah, exactly. So hopefully this has been helpful for you guys and you've enjoyed the tips, and we are excited about the next process.
Yes.
You excited?
Yes, I'm very excited about the next process.
Okay. So we will be updating you guys on the next stage of the house building process. And if you guys have any questions,
Reach out.
just reach out. Just reach out.
Me.
Just reach out. Just reach out and tell somebody.
If they have any questions, what?
Yeah,
Comment?
just
Put them
comment.
in the comments.
Put them in the comments.
Yeah, if you have any questions, put them in the
comments.
comments. And please don't forget to click and subscribe.
Yes, click and subscribe.
Peace.
Peace. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, watch out.